what extracurriculars did you do?
I think the most important one was this program that I did at Cisco.
Hi everyone. Today we have Mr. Kush Gupta here with us.
Hey Neil, so my name is Kush Gupta. I'm a senior at the University of Illinois Urbana Champagne. I'm graduating in May 2022, and I'm majoring in mathematics and computer science.
That's really cool. Thank you for being here today. And so I'd like to dive right in with some basic college information and like future career prospect questions and things like that. So for my first question would be, where all did you apply to when you first doing the application process?
Okay, so I actually had 13 applications and I applied to 17 universities using those 13 applications. So since I was applying for CS, my top choices um, were University of Illinois, of course. Then I had University of Washington, Seattle. I had Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology. I had University of Massachusetts, Amherst. I applied to 6 of the UCs. So University of California, Berkeley, LA, San Diego, Davis, Santa Barbara. And I applied to Purdue as well. I also applied um, to Carnegie Mellon. So these were my main choices, and yeah.
Got it. Cool. And so you obviously went to Urbana Champagne. And so how's your college experience been so far?
It's been pretty good. So I think just being at a school that has such a high reputation for computer science has been a great experience because I've kind of interacted with faculty that's really good, but also the peer group that I've created has been really good for me. And it's been a great experience trying to mix my academics with just networking with people and having fun and enjoying the college experience. It's been great.
Another question would be, what what are your future career prospects or like your future goals that you want to accomplish?
So my immediate goal is to get into the tech industry. I want to work at a big tech company for a while. And I'm kind of inclined towards data science because it it encompasses my entire major because the mathematics and the computer science they come together. And so I feel like data science is a great option for me. So that's my goal for the short term. And I'm just going to see how it goes because I want to explore how the industry really works, and based on that I want to take some future decisions. But yeah, that's what I'm planning right now.
Right. Okay. And so over the summers, did you do any internships or anything like that? Or
Yeah, so I've been interning every summer since my freshman year. um, I've worked at Dell in 3 of my summers because I just like the work environment there, and just the kind of work that they're doing in data science is really cool. So yeah, that's what I've worked in. I think it's pretty important to utilize the summers between college years really well. So it doesn't necessarily have to be internships, but just doing some college courses or something is really important because that way you're staying up with what you're learning and you're kind of applying it somewhere. So I think it's something that's really important.
got it. What subjects did you take in high school? So
Okay, so I did my 11th and 12th in IB. So the subjects I took, so my HLs were mathematics, computer science, and physics, and my SLs were English, Spanish, and economics. Yeah.
okay. And so throughout high school, did you take any AP courses or any other courses that earned you extra credit, anything like that?
So I actually did not take AP courses just because I thought that IB itself was giving me enough credits that I
Okay.
was taking to college. But I did do this course over summer. It was a development course on udemy.com. Um,
Okay.
and it was a development course in the language Swift, which is for iOS. It didn't really get me any credit, but it kind of put me into the computer science world pretty early on. So I thought that was great.
Right. And so, what languages do you enjoy coding in, and what languages do you prefer or have learned?
Okay, so I think my favorite one is obviously Python. It's super easy to use, and there's just so much information and libraries available for it that um, you know it just makes it really simple, and you can use it for front end, for back end, for anything. So Python's really my favorite, but I also enjoy C++ because it kind of helps you understand everything in depth. So C and C++ really help me build my fundamentals in computer science. Um, yeah, I think these two are on the top of my list, but also I've learned Java, I've learned Swift, JavaScript, so
Got it.
quite a few of them. Yeah.
And so for languages like Python, like schools do offer it a little bit, but it's not really where the syllabus is not really that comprehensive. So for example, did you do any online courses, or did you like teach yourself Python, or like how? Because for a lot of viewers, they may want to get into coding, but they don't know how to like start learning or where to start learning. So is there any kind of courses or anything you recommend for that?
So I think the more important thing about learning how to code is understanding the fundamentals, right? So all of these languages like C++ and Python, they're object-oriented languages, right? And so I think if you understand the fundamentals well enough, you can really code in any language you want because the syntax is what's changing and not the fundamentals of it. So if someone really wants to start exploring CS early on, I think the best course that I've seen has been the CS 50 course by Harvard University.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
free course,
Yeah.
and it's intro to computer science, and I think that'll give you a good foundation. Um, Another thing that I would recommend is not to start off learning CS and Python, just because you get too used to it being that simple. And so if you really want to get into the depths of computer science, maybe a good place to start would be C++ or Java.
Got it. Okay, thank you. And moving on to a big question, and probably one of the questions that a lot of our viewers are here for. What extracurriculars did you do?
I think the most important one that that helped me build my profile around CS was this program that I did at Cisco. So it was a talent cloud program, which was a 6 month long thing, and we worked in groups where we actually worked on creating our own projects. So in our case, we were building a college application software which gave you all the information that you needed, but it also had like an essay rater, which we tried to build using machine learning. So
Got
a lot of the stuff, yeah. So a lot of the stuff was really basic, but I thought it gave a good understanding to us on some of the fundamentals that we wanted to learn, but also we were really building something. So I think talking about that experience within the application really helped me strengthen it. Um, some of the other stuff was I did some community service. I took part in a lot of sports in school, um, and a few leadership positions. I think helped me just get a perspective and really put into my essays, which eventually panned out for the application. So yeah.
got it. And so, with, for example, the 6 month long program that you were a part of, how would you
Mhm.
balance your time? Because there's a lot of schoolwork as well, right? And like 10th grade, you have boards, and 11th, 12th is IB. And so, how did you go about balancing your time and managing it effectively?
Yeah, so I think that's a good question. So the most important thing that I thought was setting my priorities and really figuring out when the deadlines for certain things were. Like um, I think the biggest priority for me initially was my school exams because those always have the highest weightage in your application, right? So getting your school scores right and then getting your standardized testing right is key.
Right.
But really, it was just about yeah. I think planning is the most important thing, and that's where I struggled personally initially when I joined IB, and I think a lot of people do. So you know, mapping out everything that you need to do um, early on can really help you prioritize your tasks and um, just devote the right time at the right amount of time at the right time. And so it's really about that. Yeah.
Got it. And for balancing your time and managing it, did you have any like some people use like tools and like other programs, like for example a lot of people use Google Calendar or Microsoft To Do. So are there any things like that, any programs or anything you use to really help you?
Um, so okay, I went a little more traditional. I used to have sticky notes on my laptop,
Okay.
uh, like the physical sticky notes,
Yeah.
and they would always be on my laptop. So anytime I was looking at the keyboard, I was seeing them. I think that's just how I like to do it. But
Yeah.
I mean, some of the new tools are really good. I do use Google Calendars a lot these days. So it's really about comfort levels and what really grabs your attention the quickest. Um, because sometimes your notifications might not go off, or you have to be on your phone to get those kind of notifications. So that's why
Yeah.
I just prefer a physical reminder. It helps me concentrate on it better. But uh, yeah, I think using any of these tools is really helpful just because you have so many tasks that you might actually forget to do some of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. And so another question would be, during the summers of your high school year, did you do any like summer schools or anything like that, or any special projects, anything like that?
No, so the only thing that I did over the summer was this Cisco program. It started at the end of my 11th grade. So I had
Okay.
kind of the summer to work on it. Also, it was just uh, a lot of schoolwork that I was working on. I did not
Right.
attend summer school because I had a few more tasks that I needed to complete before I thought I was, you know, but I prioritized those tasks over going to summer school and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And another question would be Cass. So you mentioned you did some community service, but will you
Mhm.
just give us like a ballpark figure of like how many hours or like what did you do for Cass or anything like that?
Oh yeah, sure. So I think for community service, it's more about, for me, it was about finding the right time to do stuff. I didn't honestly, I didn't do community service, like fixed every week. It wasn't like that kind of a thing.
Right.
So I'd actually started uh, this group with my friends. It was a couple of us where we were just working towards creating new ideas and actually helping underprivileged children, especially in terms of education. So we were trying to raise funds, but we were also trying to um, have events where we could help people. So we had like book reading events, or we had bake sales where we raised funds, and it was it was a it wasn't like a continuous kind of a thing, right? Obviously, we were putting in the effort for it every week, maybe every 2 weeks, but the time
Yeah.
commitment really came on certain weekends where we were at a place for 4 to 5 hours and doing our work, and not like a 1 hour a week kind of thing. So it's really up to um, your schedule and your preference on what you want to do, because um, I this way kind of worked better for me because I thought that the impact that we were creating was a lot more just by having things on a larger scale. But
Right.
I think either or is the right way to go.
Got it. And so also any leadership roles or like do you found any company or anything like that, leadership roles in school or anything like that that you think helped in your profile?
Yeah, so I was on the student council in 10th grade in my school. and I was the head of the art association within the school. So I think that was one of the key leadership positions for me. Also, we have a school festival every year, right? And it's one of the biggest ones. So I was the head of one of the departments for that fest,
Okay.
and so I think it's really about getting getting different problems and really explaining how you solve them using these leadership roles on your application. I think that's the key, and that's what you should be looking for um, when you're looking out
Right.
for leadership roles. Yeah.
Okay. And so, final questions in the section would be, um, for example, competitions. Like a lot of computer science students that I've talked to think it's very important to win hackathons and do hackathons and take part. And so, I just trying to get your opinion on, first of all, do you think winning or like attending hackathons and taking part in stuff is really like as important as people say it is? And also, did you take part in any hackathons or anything like that?
Yeah. Okay. So I think it really comes down to what your interests are. Because I personally didn't do it. The only competition that was that the CS related competition that I took part in was this Cisco thing, and at the
Right.
end, like we had to present our project in comparison to a few other people, a few other groups. Um, I think it always is a good thing to show interest in the subject, but you really don't have to go to these hackathons per se to be able to do that because you're still exploring what you want to do, right? So if you have the opportunity and you would want to explore it, I think it's great to do it, and it really would help you put some things on the drawing board, right? While writing your applications. But
Right.
I personally I don't think it's as important to do it. It's not the thing that's going to give you the edge over someone who's equivalent to you on the application. So yeah.
Got it. Cool. Thank you so much. And so, just the last two questions. Um, do you have any tips for building the college profile?
Yeah, so I think my biggest tip would just be that don't do things for the sake of doing them, because it shows on your essays, and that's where you're actually going to be explaining what you've done on everything, right? So your essays are your key, and so my advice would be to do things naturally, right? Do things that you like, and they don't really have to be um, really big things. You can do stuff at a smaller scale, but if you're really gaining some perspective and some knowledge out of it, I think that goes as long a way as doing something that's really big. So that's probably my only advice um, for the application building process.
Got it. And so, the last question of the day. Um, do you have any tips for writing the essay? When to start writing, or like how many drafts or things like that? What to write about?
Um, yeah, so I think the timing of it really depends on how fluent you are in your writing. But my advice would be to start in the summer between 11th and 12th grade. I think it's a good time to utilize and to ponder upon what you've already done, because by this point you would already be in the process of doing the things that you've built your application around, right?
Right.
Um, so I think that's a good time to start writing your essays. As of drafts, you can have as many as you want. So I really don't think I have the right number for that.
Yeah.
Um, but the stuff to write about, um, I would say is, again, just try to make it as personal as possible, and try to put what you think is was important to you and how you cope with certain situations or certain problems. Uh, just the admissions officers are at most times going to be able to tell whether you've been organic about what you've written or whether it's all fabricated. So I think that's the biggest advice that I got while I was writing my essays, and that's something I would want to pass on because um, it's easiest to put something down on paper what you've already experienced. So by trying to be someone you're not, you're just going to make your life harder and going to reduce your chances of getting into wherever you want to go. So yeah, just be organic about what you're writing.
Great, cool. Thank you so much for being here. I think that wraps up the session. I'm sure a lot of the computer science major aspiring students have learned a lot and gained a lot of insight. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you for having me.
Hi guys, if you'd like a one-page PDF summary of this interview with the key extracurriculars, competitions, leadership positions, classwork, and also updates on the new videos, there's a Google form link in the description. Once you fill it out, we can send it to you. Thank you.